Hello, my love. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. Yes, I have to do the night shift. Why? Because she says I have to make some more money so we can go on another adventure. No, just helping the Scruffs out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade the Asian session.
Wait. Matron, take them away.
And a warm welcome to one and all. This is your first time here. The overgrown child, that is the Scruffy trader. And what I'm trying to do is put trading in the real world. Maybe show you a trick or two along the way. And if that sounds good, do take a second to click that little subscribe button. Genuinely helps. Find value. Smash the like button. And if you want to see some more, turn on the bell icon and drop in the description to find my Twitter feeds. So what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And how on earth did somebody as stupid as me with a beer end up working as a trader? Well, very simple. My trading life started many moons ago in a factory that I used to own. I used to have a mail order company, and I used to do a lot of forward purchasing. So it was based on longer term trading, which is what I do, but zoomed in onto a micro form with the same principles as a day trader. Now this is going to make sense when I go on the chart in just a second, because today is one of those situations where forward purchasing skills comes into play, and it's all about patience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire the screen on, and within it I'll pull up the Discord, and I'll show you kind of what I've been trying to do for the guys today, because my whole ethos is shared learning and we're in it together. You know, I'm not a teacher, but I'm just somebody who's pretty good at the job and try and keep them on the right side, well, on the right side of profit, because sometimes you do get caught, and if you're caught it hurts. Then you get angry, you lash at the chart, and you lose your money. That's the last thing I want for you guys. In fact, this weekend, I want to touch on that very subject with Coffee with Scruff, because I think it's very important. And I'll hammer it home time and time again in different ways. But I think what we'll do is we'll look at, are you a trader or are you a gambler? Trader are a professional, treat it as a job, and they have set tasks, boom, boom, boom. Gambler, just jump in where angels fear to tread, and basically trade on a wing and a prayer. Recipe for disaster, guys. But we'll touch on that on Saturday. Anyway, let's flick this over and have a wee look, see what we're looking at. Now, I will be doing the Asian session. It's currently coming up to 8 o'clock, which is kind of why I want to show you this, because I've been watching it all day. In fact, I'll show you when I started watching this. Oh, here's somebody I watch all the time, but she's not very well, so she's got a dressing gown on, going to bed early. So this might end quite quickly if she gets cured. Can I come bed with you? Get in.
You dirty old man.
Right. See you tomorrow, boys and girls. Video's over.
No way.
Say. Right. What we doing? Okay. Now you'll see it's 7:30 this morning. I told the guys what it is that I'm looking for in cable. I've done it again a bit later on, because they were talking about sort of the Aussie dollar, which I may look at tonight, although I shy away from it, and I'll explain that as well. But at 7:30 this morning, I started looking at cable because it was interesting to me. Now, the thing with it is, it's one of those days today where it's a freight train. You don't want to try and jump on a moving train, because if you do, it'll rip your arm off. So patience is the key, and if you can sort of learn how to wait and drag a price down, you'll find that you make a lot more money. You're better off having one good trade managed well than try and be in and out of the markets 10 times in a day. And you're also better off sticking with one direction rather than trying to trade two directions at once. Because if you try and trade two directions at once, case in point, we'll just kind of get rid of that. Grab illustrated. What if you're caught in this? You can't do it. Because if you were going long and you're caught in this short, well, it's going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper against you. And you're sort of panicking and you can't get out of it. So eventually you've got to cut it loose, and then hope that the train keeps on running to pay the loss off. But what if you cut it loose and it only goes another 3 or 4 pips, then decides to turn around and go up the other way? Then you're in a loss that way. So you're better off just having one direction, and it don't matter which way it is. Right? Now this one, I'm paying very close attention to, because what I've been doing is I've been watching the candles and I've been waiting for a sign going the other way. Now the way that I do it is very simple. The second it breaches an hour's candle, I won't look at it again till the top of the next hour. So as you can see, that breached, so I don't look at it. So you come to this one, well, that breached, so you don't look at it. That breached, so you don't look at it. Now we're down here and they are not breaching. But I also needed to find a trigger point. Now that's what my levels are. Now I put my levels in a very particular way. And as you can see, it found the stall point on one of the levels that I put in. And it came from a stall point that was pretty much pip perfect. And it's now giving me a trading arena between here and here. So if you've got a trading arena, what's the best tool in the bag? That's a fib. So all I need to do is draw a fib on. Very simple. From there, because I can see a distinct bottom and I can see a distinct top. What I'm looking for now is a close above this 23 to trade into this level, that level, this level, and so forth, all the way back up. That's how retracements work. So we are sort of 3 minutes past 8. So I'm going to drop this down onto a 15-minute chart, because I have now a defined area that I can work within. And how do I know it's defined? Well, because that breached, but this is green pushing up. It hasn't breached again. It's now changed its sentiment. Very simple. And there are indicators that can help you do this. And that's what that video was I was showing you earlier on. Because within it, it's the how and the why I'm going to trade it. But I said, this will retrace. Now it's come down a hell of a lot further than I thought it would. But I was waiting for it. And this is where my forward purchasing days came into it. Because that's how it worked. You worked on key level points. So if it breached underneath, you wait for the candle to close. And you wait for it to get to a psychological level, support and resistance level, whatever you want to call it. And then you see what happens and you trade the aftermath, or you make a decision as to what you're going to do. Now, if it breaches within sort of the movement of the next candle before your order is triggered, you take your order off the table and you wait for that candle to close. Because what it's done is it's shown you a sign that the move has not finished. It can still possibly move further down, which is a good thing because it means you get a better price. The downside of it is if it catches you and then moves down, you have to use some form of pound averaging or dollar averaging to get out. Now, well, I'm saying get out. It's not get out. It actually gets you at a better price. But again, I use another method that controls the risk. In fact, it actually reduces exposure, increases the profitability, and helps the psyche. And that's what Scruffy Madness is. It's pound averaging, but it's a method that I use, and it works very well because it was taught to me from a bank manager. Okay, so let's have a look and see why I decided that I'm going to be doing this. Well, if we pop up here, where are we at? There we are, McNeil. It was we were joking on. He likes to trade the Asian session, and he's one of the guys that I want to see do well, as I do all of them. But sometimes they miss what I trade during the day, because I trade London session, and I'm normally finished 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, get my orders in and go about my day. You don't wake up till the afternoon and then trades the evening. It's a little bit like Ivan in Canada, and a little salute to you, my friend, because I know you said you're going to stay up. And all of the guys overseas, like Mark, there's a few of them. So what I do is I try and stay up and I trade the session with them, just so you can have a look at it. And well, he was done early afternoon, said I was hoping I was getting a day off, but no. But as you can see, I said I was going to do it. Okay, because that's one of the things. If I say I'm going to do it, I will. So let's have a look. Sorry, rambling a bit, but it's kind of giving you an insight into what we're getting up to. Now here, we're going to drop this into a 15-minute chart, which is there, and we can kind of see the breach points. So what I'm going to do is just take that back this way. I'm going to mark in these, all right, because just so that I can see what they are. Now I'll change the colors on them. We'll do them green, so I don't confuse myself with the other levels. These are going to be worked off a 15-minute chart. Okay, and I want to sort of come up to probably about the 50% mark. Okay, and that's just for this chart. And later on, about 10 o'clock, I'll be preparing for the Asian session, and I'll show you what markets are in there. And all I'll do is I'll just look for a quick scalp in the Asian session. Why? I don't really want to stay up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I started this, as you saw. I did that video, posted it at 7:30. Well, it took me an hour to do it. I started it at 6:30, and I was up having coffee prior to that. So it's a long old day for me, guys. Anyway, so they're in, so I can see my markers, and drop this down. Now I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait to see what this candle is, and if I can get 10 pips out of it, I'm happy. So we'll have a look. So just for argument's sake, say we get in there. I've got loads of pips up to here, all right, more than what you need. Any trade over 10 pips to me is a good trade. Any trade under 10 pips, I'm there or thereabouts that I don't want to trade it. Now that is session specific as well, because that's for, say, the London session or the New York session, which is what this is in, because it doesn't shut till 9:30. After 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, I know the markets are very, very slow. So I look for 5 to 7 pips. Why? Because the spreads open up that little bit bigger on certain products, and I want to allow that within that 10 pips. So I reduce my target, but the actual movement would be roughly the same. Hope that makes sense. It's like I say, it's just allowing for the spread, and the slow movement of the market enables me to manage it roughly the same. So what I'll do is I'm just going to leave this running, because it's got a couple of minutes left before it cashes out. I'm going to enjoy my coffee, We all know Scruffy likes it, coffee. And then toddle off and see the wounded warrior back there. She hasn't been well at all today, which is no good, because what happens is I have to go in the kitchen on my own to make a coffee.
Who'd be stupid enough to do that?
Justify, stupid.
And as we know, I make a mess in the kitchen. And if you ever make a mess and you've got a wounded animal walking around with a sore head, you're kind of safe while they're walking about. But as soon as they see what mess is going on, that animal's instinct doesn't half kick in. And I get kicked. That's not good, is it? I mean, it's supposed to be domestic bliss. One day. Right, let me do this. Okay guys, it's knocking on and just after 10 o'clock, so I'm getting ready to check out the Asian pairs. Keep an eye on this. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put in some Scruffy Madness points backwards, just to kind of the bridge of here. And what that is, it's just to get a few extra quid, and I'm going to be targeting between these two lines here while we're working. Simple stuff. Because all I've got running at the moment is this cable trade. Okay, so let me just figure this out and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've just dropped a couple of extra orders in. What these are if the price moves against me aggressively, it'll get me a better price to move forward. Okay. But in the meantime, if it just picks the order up, runs into this section, which is here what I'm targeting, I'll be fine. But the plan tonight is to look at the Asian session. Now, it's a slow session to start with. And one of the main things you want to be looking at is the product itself. Now, I use a strength sheet, as you see, and if you bear with me, I'll just pull that up. Okay, so what I'm going to do tonight, I'm not going to do a mathematical equation on the bias, because that's what I would normally be doing with this section here. I put a bunch of numbers in and it works the bias out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the charts clean. And then that way you might be able to pick some tips up as to things to look for. But if you do want to see how I trade fully, do come and see me in the Scruffy squad. And it's very transparent and there every day. But you can find strengths like this anywhere on the internet. I just prefer to do it myself because I find I do it a bit more accurate. It's more in the moment, and it's something I'm used to. Now, straight away, what I'm looking at, I look at the majors to see what's going on. Well, there isn't any Asian pairs in this because, well, it's flat, isn't it? So the majors normally have the Western currencies in it. So what I'm looking at mainly is going to be what's in here, and kind of ignoring this as well. So if I come down the list, the first Asian thing that I can see is JPY, and it is strong. So what's happened with it across the last 24 hours? It's gaining ground. So that's the first thing in my mind. So I know JPY is something I want to be looking at. But I also want to pair it against something that is also on that side of the world. So if I move down, I can see there's not a lot. Now, we do have the CAD, and those guys are awake around this time at night. Certainly part of it is anyway. So that could be a contender. And if I look up here, they're both in the grouping. However, it would be better if the CAD was further down on this line here. So that's one way to look at it. And then the next one is the Aussie. Okay, so pretty slim pickings really. But what's happened over here? Well, if we go back to the CAD has lost a lot of ground. So if it continues to lose ground and that continues to gain ground, there's movement. And it's movement we're looking for. Okay. Now, New Zealand is losing ground, and it's kind of middle of the road at the moment, but the Aussie is gaining ground. Okay. So that mightn't be a very good pair to trade because they're both trying to push against themselves. Have to have a little look. So what I've done with that there is it's just given me something to think about. That's all. So let's have a look, see what we've got. Well, the first thing I want to do is look at the indices that are open at this time of night. So we'll definitely be looking at the Aussie 200. Just take off the sort of Bolly and RSI. Don't really need them just yet. And we'll look at this one as well. Okay. So there's a couple of indices we know are operating this time of night. Now, there's also world drivers that you can trade anytime as well. So that would be oil. Doesn't matter where you in the world, oil is a good driver. And that is interesting. So that's caught my eye straight away. Let's have a look, see what Forex is about. Well, I was just saying it's JPY, possibly the Aussie. So that is there. And if we look at the rate of change, it ain't big, you know, not really. Pushing against each other, like the sheet was saying. If we come down, we've got the Aussie CAD. Again, it's not very good. Come down. There's nothing here jumping out that is superb. All right. So let's just have a look at what we can. So Aussie CAD. Don't think they're very good at all, to be honest. But a good way to do this is have a quick snapshot. Just pull it out and have a look to see if there's anything can jump out. You've got that, it's pushing up. Is it any good if I go up +1? Well, that's a colossal drop. And then there's something here. Maybe. Pull this further up, see what else we've got. New Zealand CAD we were talking about. So is there any, oh, well, that's interesting as well. Look, super drop, it's calming down and volume pushing to the upper side. That's an interesting chart. I like that. Okay. So what else have we got? New Zealand JPY. Has this done anything? Again, interesting drop. Coming off here, failing a bottom, so it's a double bottom and a push up. Is there any room up to there? Maybe. So we'll have a look at that. See what else we've got. Okay. Drop, fail, slam up, push down, and still showing strength downwards. Now, if this is coming down, that will come down to around here. That's 15, 16 pips, maybe. Have a little look at that. Yeah, like that. Okay. Got the New Zealand in. And then let's have a look at this. Aussie JPY. Okay. So what I've got now is a basket of product. And what I need to do is figure out which one I like the best. Now there's a number of ways you can do this. You can just visually look at the chart and mark it out to see what's going on. You can drop in basic indicators. So in this case, we'll look at, say, an RSI. Well, an RSI, we've got an extreme, but it hasn't gone to the bottom. So could this be telling you that this has still got movement to the downside? Highly possible. So if it has got movement to the downside, where are we going to get in and why we're going to get in? Well, we're looking for levels. Just move this out slightly. See, there's a key level up here. Kind of there. Why? Well, you can see it flattened out. It's come back to it again. And then it's clustered here and it's pushed away from it. Okay. There's also a key level here where this is flattened out. Okay. Just there. And if you're wondering whether it's top of the wick, top of the body or whatever, when I'm doing something quick like this, it's actually best fit. You know, just somewhere where the level looks reasonable. Just solid these in. I'm going to leave these green just for now. Okay. So what can I see from this? All right. Well, the 4 hour is pushing up, but the 1 hour is pushing down. So they're actually fighting against each other. Do I really want to trade that? Not at this moment in time, no. So I'll kind of leave that alone. What can we see here? This is an interesting chart though. This is nicer. Why is this one better than that one? Well, that's not a particularly aggressive drop. It's okay, but that is sustained, you know. And why is that? Look at the red, the green rather. Hardly any red in it. Lovely chart. This nice chart. All right. So I'm going to discount that one, but I'm going to keep this one. Let's have a look. See what else we've got. Again, I like this one. This one's nice. All right. Why? Sustained drop and a push up. And that looks like it's trying. Okay. So I'm going to keep that one as well. No, I don't particularly like that one. I'm going to keep oil because that's something that poked out earlier on. That is a nice move. So I'll be cleaning that down. Having a good look at this one. Let's have a look at JPY. Japan 225 rather. No, don't particularly like that. It's had a nice drop. It looks like that's pushed up and that may come back down onto here. But it's a bit... just a sec. Now, if you use a fib, I like a fib. A fib's a good marking point. No, all right. I'm going to discount that one. So let's have a look at this again. Put a fib onto this, pull it down, see where we are. It's pretty close to 50. It's already had a go at it. Hasn't got much to go, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. So that's what we're left with. So we're left with these 4 charts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the next sort of 15-20 minutes having a little look at what they are, mark them up, and in the meantime I'll leave cable running. And what I'm looking to do is hopefully this will come into play while we're talking. I'm going to check out these 3 and I'll look to trade the best of the 3 and hopefully make some money. Ideally, I'd like to make £100 out of all of this lot. Anything over that, fantastic. So I'll catch you in a bit, guys. Okay, guys, so I've marked my charts, kind of got an idea of what it is I'm looking for. This one's ticking along quite nice. Just drop that back to a 15-minute. So you can see that it's just trundling along and it's dancing along the levels that I've put in and working its way up here. So we'll leave that one alone for now. Okay, so what can we see here? Well, this one looks to be moving to the upper side. So what I'm proposing to do is I'm going to keep half an eye on it. I want to see it breach this area and then move up slightly. Now this one is I actually want to see it come backwards before it goes forwards. So again, I'll be looking for around this area down here, somewhere in this zone. And then oil. Well, oil's a bit of an odd one. You've got a colossal drop, but it's tried a little bit to push higher. So what I'm kind of looking at, I'm undecided which way I'm going with this just yet. So it's either going to be a break of this or a breach of this. But either way, I'll be ready. My play for it is probably up into this area here. That's what I think is the stronger play. But I need to look into it a little bit further and just get an understanding of what's going on. Because if I take this out sort of to the bigger picture, you can see it's on a downward move. There was an acceleration here, but something that's as violent as that has to have a reprieve. And it's that reprieve that I'm looking for into this section here. That's why I've marked it there. Now, the problem with oil is when it moves really aggressively. So if that breaches, it will come down here and then bounce back up. Well, that'll be a good opportunity as well. So kind of a little bit undecided with this. I'll take it out to this way and you can see, and I'll kind of illustrate a little bit. There was a colossal drop. It tried to push up and then it thumped back down and it stopped dead on this level. And it's done it before. Now it's tried to push up. It's failing at this point. You can see it hasn't breached that high. And then thump, down it goes after a little bit of consolidation. Now that can do that for the next day as well. So a little bit careful. But I keep an eye on it and see what we can get. And then we've still got this one. It's just sort of bouncing around. The spreads have widened out this time of night, which is why sort of this is looking a bit rough. But it's just part and parcel of working late at night. So it looks like I'm kind of interested in this one and this one just now. And we'll see how we get on. So let me do the trades. And as I open them up, I'll have them so you can see that and whatever side by side. Okay. And everything's finished now. All the accounts are cleared down. It's coming up to 11:15. So we have just the cable trade running and we're now onto a blank screen. Okay. So happy days. Okay. Okay guys, I'm done for the night. Knackered. I got the Aussie New Zealand. I still think it'll do what it wants to do, but I'm net positive, so I sacrificed it and killed it. I was dubious with it to start with, which is why I only put a couple of quid on it. I didn't want to go mad. I was committed to cable, as you saw, and it did pretty much what I wanted it to do. And obviously New Zealand, and again I had the orders in and around here. It's pushing, I did want it to get here, but we're crouching on to 2 o'clock in the morning now. And I was up at 6 yesterday, so I am goosed. But what have we done? Just by a little bit of patience and watching what was going on, and I was looking at that, I was correct to pull it out. So we don't have anything running anymore, and it's pulled in just shy of 200 quid. And I only wanted 100, so I'm having tomorrow off. I'm knacked. So what's the moral of the story? Patience. Planning. I sat and watched these most of the day. So when I was coming into tonight, I was reasonably prepared for it. It wasn't done on the fly. And I think sometimes when people go to market, that's exactly what they do. They are just opening the laptop or the computer, phone, whatever, and just starting to press buttons. No. Prep. Started looking at 8 o'clock, had a bit of a glance. Between 10 and 11, I focused heavily on what I decided I was looking at. I tried to get down to about 3 pairs, and then I'll close them in to probably 1. Now, when I say 1, that's for the London session, because the markets are that volatile. I can't be looking from one screen to the next. For all, I've got a multi-screen system. It's very confusing, and it becomes a nightmare. It's a little bit like why I was talking about don't ever trade 2 directions, only ever trade 1. Be committed to it, and that's it. However, when it's nighttime like this, the markets are very quiet. And as you've seen, it's taken the thick end of 3.5 hours to play out. So I can kind of look at multiple markets and manage them at the same time. It's not something I recommend. I did it just to show you that it can be done, and that I wasn't just sort of hiding behind screens. They were all in front of you at the same time, so you could see them all play out. And that's it, really. So if you want to see some more, do click the subscribe. You find all my contact details below. There are some good links. If you're looking for a decent broker, you'll find my recommended brokers there. There's also 5% off the prop fund that I trade with, and hopefully you can make some pennies. So as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.